Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to MindShifters Radio. This is Carole Guy. Dr. Michael Ryce will not be with us today, but we have David Hayes that will be with us. And, David, if you're hearing me right now, my internet is being a little slow, so I can't open up the switchboard at this moment. So, anyways, Dr. Michael Ryce is on a cruise with his wife, Jeanie. They have been here in Florida for the past since January. They were not supposed to be here, but they were sent here by other sources, and they have been helping and guiding people on forgiveness in the Aramaic teachings. And anyways, David Hayes works with, with Michael in the Aramaic in Heartland in Arkansas. And, I'm still having a hard time getting my internet to come up here, so not really sure why. Oh, you know how that is. We always have to be flexible and movable at all times when things are happening. That's one of the things about when you're living in this world is you just have to be flexible and see how things go. So we should be up and running in just a few moments. And we will be taking callers, so if you'd like to call in, the number is 646-200-4169. And we'd love to answer any of your questions you have on what the forgiveness is really, really about. So just bear with me, David, if you're hearing me. I've got to reboot this because I can't get to the switchboard. And my internet is not responding is what it's telling me, and I know that. So anyways, we have to do a little forgiveness with the way things are with the technical stuff, right? So anyways, we're going to try this again and see if we can get this up here so we can all have David on the phone. You know, I met Dr. Ryce just recently in January. I was if anybody has been listening to these shows for any of Earth Angel Radio shows for a long time, I've had for the last couple of years, I've had Dale Allen Hoffman on. And Dale teaches Aramaic teachings, and he had told me about Michael a couple of years ago, but I never had a chance to meet him. And so I was at a group session for 11/11, I believe it was, at a meditation, and someone had mentioned to me that Michael Ryce was at doing a seminar just down the street, and I was like, "You're kidding me!" And I was like, "I wonder if that is the same Dr. Michael Ryce that Dale Allen Hoffman had told me about," and it was. And so, anyways, I called Michael and left him a message, and a few days later he had gotten back with me, and he was going to be in the area for some time. And so I went and met him and Jeanie, and then what did we do? Oh, we scheduled some events down at the Heart Painter Studio together, and that just really took off. There was a lot of people that showed up, a lot of people that were participating and really wanting to raise and change their consciousness and live what, as Michael says, a human life. And we are getting the switchboard up, David, so I should be with you in just a moment. And so it was a very great event. And then Michael had said something about doing radio, and about his own radio show. And so the rest is history. Michael decided to come and join us here at Earth Angels Radio, and it's been fantastic. And they've been just going nonstop since they've been in Florida. And we do have David on the phone. Hello, David. Are you with me?
I am, Carole. How are you doing now that your stress level has gone up?
Oh, no, never. No, I'm not my stress level. You know what? I'm used to it. So I don't let these things bother me. So we got the switchboard up, and I'm going to open the chat room. So I'll let you go ahead and share with them about what you do at Heartland and some of the teachings about forgiveness.
Okay, great. Thank you, Carole, and much appreciated for all of the work and the support that you're offering with Michael and the work that he is doing. He was very honored and elated that you made this program available to him. And we are working out some technical things. Michael and Jeanie are taking a little bit of downtime, and I talked with him again last night. And for some of you know, he was on the air yesterday. He may even wind up being on here today if he has a connection with it. And his work, he's been doing this work for a little bit better than 40 years now, and it's based out of the book, Why Is This Happening to Me Again? One of the things when I first was introduced to Michael's work about 10 years ago when I was living in Nashville, Tennessee, and been doing his work ever since then. I moved here to Heartland about 4 years ago in order to study and to work with Michael in delivering this work to every heart and mind on the planet. And that's pretty much where I'm at. My background is I've done several different things. I left Chicago, moved here from Chicago, where I was working for a company called McNeil and Johnson Learning Company, doing corporate training and teaching these principles in corporations. And I found that I wanted to learn it a little bit more about it and get it into depth. And so here I am, and I have the privilege and the opportunity to answering any questions if there's some in the chat room, or if someone wants to go live with us and talk on the phone. I'll be glad to do that.
We do have a caller, and I want to let everybody know that I do have the chat room open. So if anyone wants to go in the chat room, it is open. And if anyone wants to call in, the number is 646-200-4169. And if you're ready, David, there's a caller here. We can take the call. First caller.
Please do. Hello.
Hello. This is a Skype number. What's your name and where you're calling from? 111. Hello, Skype. Okay, if I can hear somebody, but you may need to call back in because it's not coming through. So I hear movement. So Skype, if you'd like to call back in, and we will definitely take your question. So please feel free to do so. So, okay, David, we are back up and going with you. So you've been working with this for how long now?
For a little better than 10 years, 10, 11 years. I'm not certain of the dates of when I got involved with it. A friend of mine actually had given me Michael's cassettes in a worksheet, and I had made a commitment to her that I would listen to them. And quite frankly, at the time, my thought was, well, here's another program out there. There's lots of programs, lots of disciplines, lots of teaching. And I had read and been doing this work myself for about 25 years. So I made the commitment to her and told her that I would listen to them. And when I did, I was taken back, Carole, from the very first introduction on the cassette. And it was a lady with a wonderful English voice, and she said at the beginning of it to please feel free to copy and to teach this material. And when I heard that with the accent, I thought, what? Wait a minute. So I rewound it and played it again and did that several different times before I even went on with it, because I thought to myself, here's someone that is practicing the principles that he's teaching. Never have I ever heard of anyone offering the material free in order to use them to teach. And so that drew me into it. I followed his instructions when he recommended to do 5 worksheets a day for the first 40 days, and I did that. And the rest, so to speak, is history. I've been doing the worksheets ever since then, and quite frankly, I didn't know that Michael had a book out. All I knew is I had these cassette tapes. I didn't know he had a retreat center. I didn't know he had DVDs and videos of workshops until about 6 years ago, and I had called for a support group, and Michael answered the phone. And there was an intensive that was beginning in 3 days, and he said, why don't you come out for the intensive? And at that particular time, everything was up in my face and all the reasons to not go to one. And I said, okay, I'll come. Made the arrangements, came to the 9-day intensive of Why Is This Happening to Me Again here at Heartland. And and that was my beginning and my real attraction. I then traveled with Michael for several weeks. I began started a couple of MindShifter groups in Chicago, and we'll be talking about how to get a MindShifter group started, because that's the purpose and the principle around this radio show, is to support people in beginning their own groups and how that they can get supported with this daily radio show and by meeting and doing the work. So, can we get our caller back?
No, but there's a question here in the chat room. It says, I'm in a relationship and my partner goes through moods, and he currently is in a mood where I feel distant. I don't know if it is a chemical imbalance or the stress of a job he hates or the influence of his best friend who is. And that's it. So, how would you like to take that one?
Well,
here's the rest of it. Who's jealous of our relationship? What would be the best thing for me to do? Be patient and loving until it passes, or do something else? Why is he acting this way? Okay.
Well, there's a mouthful. So here it is. That the bottom line of it is that, and I love what the person said. Should I be patient and loving? And absolutely, be patient and loving, and be patient and loving beginning with yourself. This really is a reflection about what it is that's going on for yourself. Remember that everything is done with smoke and mirrors. Whatever it is that this relationship is bringing up for you, whether it's jealousy or sadness or disappointment, fear, whatever, it's an opportunity for you to heal that has been resonated within you. The recommendation is always to go to the website of whyagain.com and download some forgiveness worksheets, the reality management, and just begin doing that. Often, Carole, a lot of people want to know, how do I do those? And as I said earlier, no one ever showed me how to do a worksheet. Never. It was about me just picking the worksheet up and start doing the worksheet. And anyone can do that. The problem usually arises is that most people in the mind wants to figure out, why should I do this? What am I going to get out of doing this? And then we're stuck in the dissociated mind and unable to see that. We just can't see it because our 9 bits is full of information in our consciousness. We have to, forgiveness is about letting go of any hostility or fear, sadness, disappointment, so that we then can view it from a consciousness, a higher level of intelligence and understanding. So that would be my recommendation, is to do that. And, there's the information is there for listening from the website, of listening to some of Michael's talks on this, which is a good thing. And you can go and play the game Building the Brain Cells. You can come to Heartland and do an intensive. For people that really are interested in wanting to make shifts and changes, have to first make the commitment that you're going to do the work. And that's what the support is all about. It's about committing to do the work at whatever level. And you can commit. Yeah, and the commitment, there's a saying, without commitment, nothing happens. With commitment, anything's possible, because the mind will not show up any solution to anything. The purpose of the mind is to manage stress. That's really what it's about. And so if there's some stress, I need to let go of whatever it is, the thoughts behind that, so then I can see it clearly and see it in a different way.
Absolutely. It's a great thing that you brought up commitment, because a lot of people, especially let's say relationships or jobs or anything actually, they think that they've got to commit to the relationship. They got to commit to the job. They got to commit to a situation, but really it's making that commitment within themselves that they want to do something.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, Carol. And my recommendation is to commit to your highest guidance. See, we're either committed to our non-being mind or we're committed to our being mind. One or the other. We can't be both. Einstein said, one of the wonderful statements, and he has so many quotes, is that you cannot simultaneously prevent and prepare for war. The same way in the mind about anything. I cannot do my healing and hold on to the reasons why I'm feeling the way that it is that I'm feeling. I have to go in, and that's what the Aramaic language is. This is about forgiveness, is to cancel, to let go of the way, that's what it is. Now the mind, and we've been taught this culturally, and it's as though the mind wants to find a fault or a blame, and then in that sense, it's stuck in the mind once again. So the recommendation is to let go of that, and it is through the commitment. And we are either committed to healing or we're committed to being stuck.
Absolutely. And people don't realize that's a commitment. There is being, that you're committing to being stuck. You're committing not to move forward with your life. When you don't take those action steps.
Exactly. And it seems like, because the mind is so trained, it's such a wonderful tool. And, what is that? There's some biblical scripture about the mind that, I'm less educated when it comes to biblical things than most people. And I do remember one that it said, about the servant, that the mind is a great servant. It's a terrible master. And that's really what it is that when we learn how this mind works and we commit to teaching it properly, and incidentally, teaching it properly taught is the word in Aramaic that said discipline. When we discipline ourselves, when we properly teach ourselves, and we're the teacher. There is, there's this thing about, there's a teacher and there's a student. And like in the Aramaic language with cause-effect, Carol, is one word in the Aramaic language. There is no cause and then effect. It's cause-effect. It's one word. And I believe that teacher-student is the same, that we're all teachers and we're all students. What we're really doing is that we're out there bringing people to us, to our present consciousness, that we can now teach ourselves how to properly manage our lives, how to properly manage the mind. Without that, then the mind is just going to, it's not like that the mind chooses, because the mind does it. The mind is just a reflex organ. It just responds to. Okay,
what happened here? Okay, we lost David, but so he'll have to call back in. I'm not sure what happened, but he'll call back in just a moment. So, okay. So, anyway, so, I really believe that what he was saying about the teacher-student, we all are teachers, we all are students, and it's up to us to get our own lessons. It's up to us. It's not up to us whether the other person gets it or whatever. It is totally about us. Everything is about us. So, David, you're back with us?
I am. I don't know where I left off. All of a sudden, I looked at the phone, and I think I caught it just as it was going off because it kind of lit up. I'm not sure what
you were talking. The last word you said was the mind, and that was it.
Okay. Well, in listening to what you were saying, Carol, it is so true that about the teacher and the student, that we are bringing, that we're the teacher and we're the student. We're bringing people into our lives so that we can now choose to come from patience and loving, and to let go of anything that's unlike that. And the mind is an evidential device. It's a reflex organ. It just responds. It doesn't really respond. It just resonates whatever it is that it has in it. You know, Michael uses the example, don't think of the color of your car. Well, what did you think about? Now, you didn't think about that. Actually, we call it thinking, and really what it did, it just resonated. It just fired some cells in the brain that showed you the color of the car. We've been taught to believe that that's thinking. That's not thinking. That's just resonance of an evidence of what's held in the mind. Thinking is a spiritual process. That is when we quiet the mind so that then we can tap into a higher guidance. Well, now the mind then wants to figure out, well, what is that? What do I have to do? Well, now we're back into the mind of it again. So it's about letting go of that, finding support where people will support you in doing it, because the game is out there. You know, you don't call me on my stuff, I won't call you on your stuff, in the sense that taking responsibility, and we do a workshop called Responsibility Communication. Did you hear what I think I said? There's projection communication and there's responsibility communication, and that's what we support and encourage people to work on. Is the caller still there, or the chat room? Is this helpful?
Well, let me try and see if they're. Let's try and see if they're there. Skype, are you with us? 111. Hello. Hi, you're there. What's your name?
Yes. What's my question?
Okay. What's that?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. I have TV going on, and you know.
Oh, okay. Okay. What is your name?
Oh, Sheena.
Sheena, and where are you calling from, Sheena?
Florida.
Florida. Oh, wonderful. And so, how can David help you today?
Hi, David. How are you doing today?
Fabulous, Sheena. You gave me a wonderful segue into how the mind works. So if you'd like to go ahead and ask your question, I'll do my best to answer it for you.
Okay. Well, I am having trouble with two types of relationships in my life right now. And it seems to be holding me back a little. The first type of relationship is with a female, of course. And go ahead. And we were friends for about 3 years, and now our relationship is ending because there's a lot that, I'm starting to realize that just wasn't really, I don't think she was being really a truthful friend, like a real friend. And the second relationship is with the male, so I'm trying to make sense of all this and what my lessons is to learn. Well, we have been seeing each other for 6 months, and I just wanted to express my feelings for this person and let him know how I felt about him. I wasn't asking him to marry me. I wasn't asking him to move in. I just simply let him know how I felt about him, and he ran. So I'm wondering if, what's going on in my life right now that is, causing me to...
Well, it sounds like you're at a wonderful place. Now, your mind may go, are you crazy, David? And actually, Sheena, this is a fabulous opportunity for, as you put it, to learn some lessons. Often when we've been taught that learning a lesson is like that it's supposed to be difficult and I have to go through this, kind of like what school does, I have to do this. And the truth of it is that unless we take on those lessons, they will keep repeating. The universe will keep giving us an opportunity in order to heal them. So a couple of things that I would invite you to look at and to shift is, and this is a language, Sheena, that a lot of people use, is that when you talked about ending the relationship, we never end relationships. We never do. We will always have a relationship with that person, whether they're present in our life or not, because we have them stored in our mind. It's like when parents lose children, or when we when there's divorces and all that, then that's what Michael refers to as taking the geographic cure. The truth of it is you will always have a relationship with that friend. Now, you can determine what level of the relationship will be, whether you want to learn something and shift, do your work of whatever it is that's come up with you when you were talking about she wasn't what you would call a true friend, then again, we're going to always refer to, especially at the early stages of this, is to go to the website, download some worksheets, and do the worksheets on it. Now, most people, Sheena, want to solve all of the problems at one time. Did you notice, I couldn't help but notice that when you were talking to us, then you said the TV was on, and then it sounded like you probably have some children there that distracted you as well. Is that accurate?
Yes, that is.
Okay. So just the same way in our life and in our mind, there are little distractions that keep coming up from the mind, and we want to be able to focus on that. So staying conscious and doing your worksheets, stay with the worksheet. I recommend that you might enroll to do the Building the Brain Cells, where you make a commitment to do 5 worksheets, minimum of 5 worksheets every day. Well, a lot of people say, well, what? I don't have time for that. Well, if you choose to let it go, then you'll create the same results. Another one of Einstein's favorite quotes is that I can't, insanity
Can you
to
help
keep
me
doing
out with
things
the lesson here that was needed? Can you help me out with the lessons that I'm trying to make sense of the lesson. What lesson was both of these situations?
What lesson do you need to learn?
Yes.
Well, my invitation to you is that you won't know what it is that you need to learn until you let go of whatever the feelings are that you're having around this, whether it's sadness or disappointment or despair, anger, hostility, whatever. The lesson can't be learned until that mind has let go of that, to the feelings that you've put around it and the thought, because the mind will only show that up. So once again, that's the recommendation, is to do the worksheets. Well, I want to know what the lesson is. You can't learn the lesson until you go through it. It seems backwards, because when Michael begins the workshop, he tells folks, now we're on this talk show, we're going to have just a few minutes together. And if I could give you the answer, Sheena, to solve all of your problems, wow, wouldn't that be wonderful? The truth of it is, I don't have the answer. You do, and the answer is within you, only it doesn't come from the carbon-based memory. It doesn't come from the dissociated mind. It has to come from your higher guidance. And that higher guidance isn't something like, an airy-fairy type thing that this is there. What it is that it's that true highest intelligence that you have within you, that you then connect with a higher energy, so that then you can see that. So, and everyone goes through this, Sheena. Everyone on the planet, at least this is my experience and it's my projection, because I've been around on the planet for a few years, and everyone that I've talked with, they have the same issues. We have no issues about solving technical things. It's a piece of cake. Relationships, there's the work, to do the work, and that requires individuals doing it. See, we've been all taught so wrong that what's going on with me is because of something that's outside of us. There's nothing going on outside of us except for the projection that we have from the content of our brain that's giving an image into us. And the mind says, oh, it's them out there. So I invite you to acknowledge yourself, applaud yourself in making the phone call, and I encourage you to take it one more step and just trust yourself a little more without having the answer, without needing to know the answer. Just download the worksheets and do some worksheets. And then call us back. We're going to be on. I promise you, Sheena, if you do 5 worksheets today, and it just goes the simple one, the 7-step one, you do 5 worksheets today, and you call us back tomorrow, And then, I promise you, you will have a different insight.
May I add something to that too?
Huh?
May I add something to this for Sheena? Sheena, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so what he's suggesting is what we were talking about, he was talking about a little bit earlier, it's about commitment, honey, about committing to yourself. So with all the distractions that you have in your life, your children, all these different relationships, it's time for you to commit to yourself. So if you get these worksheets, just try it for one night, just for today. If you can, go to that website, whyagain.com, download the worksheet, and do the steps, and do, like you said, 5 of them just tonight. Make that commitment to yourself tonight that you're going to commit to you and your own growth in your own life. That's the lesson. You want the lesson, that's the lesson right there, because you're allowing everything else to pull at you. So make that commitment, do these, and see how you feel just by the tomorrow. And that's going to be helpful to you. So it's about commitment to yourself. Does that help?
Carol?
Thank you. So does that help, Sheena?
Sheena?
Hello?
You still there?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I'm here. Yes, that helped me. Thank you a lot.
Okay.
See, honey, take a stop for just a moment. See, we're sharing this with you, but you're not present. You're not present. So make this commitment to yourself to be present in the moment right now. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, you got your answer just now. So what you may need to do is go back and listen to this recording tonight. You can go back in a little bit after the show and download it or re-listen to this show when it's more quieter for you. But you need to make a commitment to yourself. Okay, and be present in the moment so you can hear it. Okay? So blessings to you. Okay, enjoy this hot, sunny day. It's gorgeous here.
And we look forward to hearing from you tomorrow, Sheena. And Carol, I think that is wonderful support. And we hold the space for you to do that. Look forward to talking with you tomorrow.
All righty.
Good. And breathe.
Sounds good. Okay. Blessings to you. Bye-bye. Yes, breathe. That's the number one. That is the very first that is the very first tool that you should have in your toolbox.
You know, I agree with you 100%, Carol. And Michael and I have had many discussions around the different tools because, you know, some folks are like myself. I thought there was just one tool, this forgiveness worksheet. Little did I know that he had all of these other tools. And
right.
when I discovered the still point breathing, which is what, you know, I think that you attended one of the workshops on still point breathing, and when I was here at the intensive and did this work over a 9-day period, I got it about the breathing. And I made the statement to Michael, I said, you know, if I never had any other tool, just to remember to breathe, and to breathe correctly. Most of us have been taught to, we call it breathing, and it's really just a survival thing. So have you've heard of the fight or flight, Carol?
Yes. I'm good. I'm an expert. I'm a master at that one.
Oh, yeah? Well, I've added it to you.
Yes, she's the master. I totally mastered that, but then I had to learn to master something else.
That's right. Well, here's where there's fight, flight, freeze, or breathe. And you're going to choose one of those. Whether it's a conscious, actually you can only choose one. You can choose to breathe. The other ones are just coming from the dissociated mind, that it freezes up. And if you look at the animal kingdom, we all, you know, we see that. What happens when a deer runs across the road at night and the headlights hits the deer and the deer's looking? What does it usually do? Boom, freezes up. Freezes up, and when it freezes, it's over with. Or it flies. It just takes off. And so we can't breathe, though. See, we do have the choice, where animals, they do not have that ability in order to make choice to do things differently. We do. So do we have any other calls?
Let's see here. No other callers. at this very moment. But, with the breath, people don't realize that that is the thing you should cherish the most in life, because without your breath, you cannot function, you cannot live without the breath.
Exactly. And I don't know, Carole, if you've ever been with people, or I would imagine that you've heard about when people are making their transition, that in hospice, well, then people will all of a sudden stop breathing. And when they stop breathing, the person that's properly trained in it, will just let them be there. The one that shakes them and gets them to do the stuff, it's like, oh, no, they're fine, and they'll start breathing again soon. And if you've ever been into a hospital where when babies are born and they're put into the incubators and they're wired up with all of these different things, and a friend of mine was telling me about a friend that he had that worked in the nursery, in the incubator area, and all of a sudden the monitor started making the noise, the beep when that happens, and said this nurse just calmly got up, walked over to the baby, and just touched the baby. Just touched the baby, that's all. And within a few seconds, the baby started breathing, which is the same as what we do. When we do that, it's holding on. This is an energy system. The breath is what keeps the system operating. We need the breath. When we hold our breath, we lock our drama and trauma into that cellular tissue, and then that becomes the information. When something happens, it registers the information that's in the cell, and there we're living from our own thoughts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow.
Breathe.
Absolutely. Well, if you watch a newborn baby, what I teach, too, is if you watch a newborn baby and watch it breathe, a newborn baby, when it first comes out, it breathes in and out through its nose. It does not use its mouth. That's the proper way to breathe. And we all of a sudden, they learn very quickly because of our conditioning and even, us not responding to them right away. A newborn baby will pick that up right away, that they all of a sudden can't breathe because mommy or daddy's not responding to my cries. They're so conscious. They are the highest conscious beings a newborn baby is. And, so if you learn to watch them, learn how to breathe again, because that's the greatest tool you can have.
And, just being in the presence of a newborn, I had the honor to go to Louisville here a couple of weeks ago, which is my original hometown, and meet one of my grandsons for the first time. He's 2 weeks old. And just to be in the presence of that child, as Michael says, if you've ever held a newborn child, and that's how he starts most of his workshops, what is the essence of that child? And there are lots of different comments that are made that it's awesome and innocence and joy, and there are no words to describe it. It's impossible to describe it. We do our best to, and that's just the mind, and we need the mind in order to anchor in our experiences of giving it a language, because we're always talking to ourselves. We always have this conversation that's going on. And when we can really put into some words that will then trigger our true essence of who it is that we are, then we get to be that. And everything else just melts away. Everything. We get out of the fear.
We do. For that moment, we get out of that fear and into our true being. Yes, we do. So, and we mentioned the toolbox, having different tools, because what I believe, too, is, if you pay attention to building a house, you don't just use a hammer to build a whole complete house. It takes all kinds of different tools. Breathing is a tool. This work that Michael is doing and you're doing, David, of forgiveness. is another tool. There's different tools that we can use, and Michael has a lot of things that he does in his intensity, correct? I haven't experienced his intensity, but I'm going to actually I think next week or so that they're going to be doing one here in Florida. So that is a thing, too, is getting all the tools you need to be able to build your own kingdom within yourself.
Yes, and it's a great analogy to use towards, if we're building a house, what's the foundation and what are the tools that we're going to use. And over time, Michael has developed several different tools, the commitment tool. And, that might be something, Sheena, if you're listening to this, if you're going to be listening to this evening, this would be another little message for you, is to download the commitment, my commitment to myself. There's a commitment to myself, there's a commitment to others, and when we do that, it's a very powerful tool to use. At the intensives, and it sounds like you guys may be doing a 3 or 4 day one there. Michael and Jeanie's schedule changes so quickly that I'm not certain of what the dates are. And we do know
I'm not. I think they can go to their website and find the dates on that too, whyagain.com, and find out the schedule.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in Florida. Michael's been doing all these workshops right here in Florida, so if you're here, check out the schedule.
Yeah, it's a great idea. And come to Heartland. It is so powerful because the modules are 9 days. There's going to be 65 days of intensive here this summer, and there are 9-day modules. For people that can come, we're going to be doing the codependence to interdependence, which may be one for Sheena. Actually, I think it's so powerful for everyone. There's the why again. There's teachers training. There's intuitiveness. There's several of them that we're going to be doing. And during that time, then people actually get the experience of using the tools. We can talk about this on the show, and I'm sure that, I don't know, Carole, have you ever gone to a seminar and you get really motivated and excited about what it is that you hear, and you leave and you go home and you go to sleep at night and you say, wow, my life is really going to change, and you wake up the next morning and you say, wow, my life is going to change today, and you go to sleep that night and you wake up the next morning and go, wow, I sure do hope my life changes today. And then by the third or fourth day, everything is just gone. Well, that's the purpose of the So the purpose of the building the brain cells game is for people to then tap into the actual experience of doing that. Like Sheena, if she goes and does these 5 worksheets, I guarantee you tomorrow she'll have a total different insight about what is going on. To come to the intensive, then there's an experience of it.
And what it goes back to is going back to the commitment. It goes back to the commitment to committing to yourself. Because, I talk about the same thing, that people go to the workshops. You can read all the books you want. You can listen to all the tapes. You can listen to all these radio shows. You can do all of this. But until you get down and really make the commitment to doing the work that it's going to take to make things change, a closet does not get cleaned out by itself. Somebody has to do the work to clean it out.
That's very true, Carole. And have you noticed, though, I have in my life, that on my own, I will find a way to get out of doing it. When I have
absolutely.
My carbon-based memory in my mind has been so conditioned and trained that as soon as I say I'm going to do this, my mind gives me every reason to not do it. Remember, its job is to manage stress. So if I say that I want to do something that I haven't done before, it creates a little stress in the mind. The mind says, oh, no, you don't have to do that. I'll show you how to get out of it. Now, it doesn't say it like that. And the truth is, it is
no, what it does is it says, oh, you know what, the dishes need to be made. Or, oh, wait, I got to go. I got to do this. That's what it does. It finds other things that's more enjoyable for you to do than to it's our ego self that stops us from really truly doing the work and making the commitment to really actually changing our lives.
Yeah, and it's along that line, it's not like it even thinks about it. It just automatically responds. We've been so taught. That's the way that we've been taught that this is how it works. Well, there's nothing that I can do about it. And just as soon as the commitment is made, yes, all of a sudden, well, wait a minute, I need to go do this. I mean, have you ever started across the room to get a glass of water, and before that you get a glass of water, you move something, you pick something up, you change something, you pick the phone up, and then you wonder, what was I doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure we all do, and it's because our mind is not committed to focusing on ourselves.
It's healing to the ego is death. That's what it was meant when we said you must die in order to live. It's just the false self. It's just the dissociated mind. Now, on our own, we can't see that. I believe that's why that there's 7 billion people on the planet today, is so that we can wake up to there's plenty of people there that will show us what it is that we need to work on. We can
I know, because if you don't get the lesson once, there'll be so many more that comes rushing in to help you.
Oh, absolutely. Thank them for that, because that is it. That's why is this happening to me again? It's happening because there's an energy within you that needs to be cleared out. Our true essence is love. Our true essence is joy. It's awesome. It's innocence. That's our true essence. That's how we come into the world, and then the world teaches us, no, you're this. Have you ever thought about how many times that a parent will say to a child, touching their nose, chin, ear, eyes, over and over and over and over again, and this is what we get from, this is what it is. So when we take charge of that, and when we have support of someone else doing it, because I know on my own, I will let myself down. And then I would beat myself up about letting myself down. It's just a vicious cycle. So when I have people that love me, and what I consider people that love me are the ones that will be willing to hold the space of love, and this, which is another term that is the truth, is that when I commit to doing something, then I keep my commitment. If I don't keep my commitment, then someone will let me know, wow, you said you were going to do this, and I'll just let you know that you didn't do that. Now, if that brings up more anger and hostility in me, that's great if I'm willing to heal that. And usually what happens is that when that brings up hostility and fear for that person, they'll usually express some anger back to the person that did that. That's why Michael says, you have to know when to hold up the mirror and when to duck. And I say that, know when to hold the mirror up. And that's always that it's in love. And when you're in love with that, no matter what it is that a person sends back to you, you're safe.
And, the thing is knowing your own self. It's knowing your own self. So if somebody sends out a mirror and you see something, you can look and see, wait a minute. And it's very true, because you can stand back, because what I have learned with my own self, I'll look at it and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not mine. And because you don't have to accept it. If you know it, we think, okay, the mirror effect, that, okay, just because this person's showing this mirror to me and I see this and it must be my stuff. No, once you step up even further, you can actually see that, wait a minute, you can decipher that it's true. You've got to be, the bottom line is being true and honest with yourself. True and honest with yourself. That's the only one you really need to be true and honest with, because then you can step in and say, wait a minute, okay, is that my stuff? And if it's not bringing up any feelings or any hostility in you, then it's not yours. So why take it on?
Well, very good. And what the Course in Miracles would say is that, people are either asking for love or wanting to give love. So when that resonates, as you gave a fabulous example, if all of a sudden I'm seeing some hostility in people, that doesn't mean that I have the hostility in me. It can be that
thank you.
It's showing me something that I have had an experience of. And if I hold the space of love, it will create the window for that person to do the healing. If I react to it, then I have work to do. It's like going to a zoo, and I see a lion that's roaring and is angry. Just because that I identify that lion as roaring and angry and vicious does not mean I have that within myself. It only means that I observe that with it. And you know what? There are people that have worked on themselves that lion would then, they know how to send love to that lion, and the lion will calm down.
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely. So, you know,
if you've watched go ahead.
Well, the thing is once you start doing this work of forgiveness and you start doing all of this, you do step up into another realm of things, of seeing that, you know, like what you just said, that lion's roaring doesn't mean that that's inside of me. So, did you hear? Was you able to hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me? Are you there?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it's beautiful. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, and that's our true essence. That's what we all are here to express and to experience. That's our true essence. Now, the world out there, when I say the world, there is a world out there, and there's a world inside of my head. When the world out there is showing me anger and hostility, and you know, Michael invites people to watch some television and to draw a line, and just for an hour watch TV, and each time that you hear someone coming from hostility or fear, make a check mark. And each time that you hear them coming from love, make another check mark. I assure you that if you do that, then your page is going to be filled up with check marks of hostility and fear, and very, very few on the love. Because if a person can trigger something of anger or hostility in someone, and they buy into it that the person out there is doing it, they have the power. And we feel disempowered. So by owning it, then we have the opportunity to heal. As you mentioned earlier, through commitment. Through a commitment, then it opens up a whole new way of seeing it.
Absolutely. So, yes.
So any other callers out there? Anyone listening that would like to...
we do have a question in the chat room real quick, and we have about 7 minutes left. It says, I'm trying to let go of a past relationship and wanting to move on and forward. Any thoughts or advice on what Spirit has to say about this to me?
Very good.
Another relation.
Huh?
Another relationship question.
Yeah, and you know, I don't know if this caller came in at the beginning or if they've just now come in. It's the same recommendation of what we were talking about. And if the person hasn't listened to it, to the full program, you might want to go back and re-listen to that, because we only have 5 or 6 minutes now, and we spent 10 or 12 minutes on that, about relationships, that, once again, if the relationship if it isn't healed, if it isn't coming from love, you're always going to have that relationship. If there's some hostility or fear, that taking the geographic cure, as Michael expressed, where you want to go to the other side of the planet where you meet the same person, not necessarily the same physical person, you'll meet that same resistance. So do some worksheets. Download, go to whyagain.com, download the forgiveness worksheet. Do 5 worksheets around that today, and check with us tomorrow and let us know what it is what the results that you've created from it. You see, there needs to be a testing ground, and the purpose of this support MindShifters group here is so that people can use the tools and then get some feedback on it. What's working, what's not working. Because on our own, the mind can't figure it out. The mind is just an individual defined. It will only give us the information that it has in there. I can't do something I don't know if I keep doing what it is that I do know. Do this without having to understand it. So the question, go again, get 5 worksheets, and follow the instructions. So often, Carole, in our life, we've been resistant to following instructions because, quite frankly, people have abused their authority, so to speak, their position of getting people to follow and to follow some instructions. Just just go through that worksheet. So I'm hearing someone on there. Do we have a caller on?
Yes.
Okay. So, caller, I would recommend that our caller, so much as it is the question in the chat room, is to risk it. Risk doing it differently. Dare to be different with it. And I promise you, if you do that, you will see, you'll have yet another question tomorrow and some new insights to that.
Absolutely. It's really, I think this whole show is about, a lot about just committing to yourself and doing those worksheets. Use the tools that you're given here and make some changes. Today's March 1st, so why not? Why not start now and get those changes going and commit to yourself? You have a whole new year still here. So whole new life. New life can start in every moment if you choose. That's another tool right there. We only have 3 more minutes, but it's about choosing, making the decision to choose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm going to add to this, Carole, for Sheena and for the other person that has asked this question, is to go to the website, download My Commitment to Myself. Read that out loud in front of the mirror. Read it out loud to yourself in front of the mirror. And watch and see what it is that goes on. Watch what you're feeling, what it brings up for you, and breathe as you're doing it. And you just using that tool alone, you will, all of a sudden, things will start to surface for you. And we support you in doing that. And then check back with us tomorrow. See what it is that you discovered with that. We can't discover anything. What was that expression? I can't discover a new land if I stay on the land where I'm at. I've got to sail out to it. That was
absolutely
Michael's talk that was going on today, waiting for your ship to come in. Which one did you send out? So,
do that one more time.
Waiting for your ship to come in. Which one did you send out?
Oh, so you got to look and see what ship you sent out. That's good. Good.
You want to see what ship that you send out, Carole. You take a look at the people that are bringing in, that you're bringing into your life, the situation,
absolutely,
the events, everything. Pardon me?
I said absolutely, yes. So, okay. Well, it's time for us to end. So thank you so much, David, for being here. And you will be back with us tomorrow at this time. You can tune in here on Earth Angels Radio, and David will be here for Michael and Jeanie since they are on a cruise. And call in with your questions. We'd love to hear from you about this worksheets you did. So thank you so much, David. Go to whyagain.com and listen the worksheet, check out the book, all the information. You get everything right there, too. So, and go back and listen to this show. So blessings to everyone, and thank you again, David.
Thank you so much, Carole, and we'll talk tomorrow, if not sooner.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you, and have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye-bye.
I will. Namaste.
Namaste.